Welcome to the Healthy Metal Hippie podcast, where art and wellness collide. I'm your host, Ashley, and I am so excited to connect with you today. Now, let's jump into today's episode, ready to rock and with an open heart. Well, hi and welcome back to the Healthy Metal Hippie. Today we are so lucky to be here with Chloe and Lindsey from the UK blues band Brave Rival. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Hello. So lovely to be here. You are so lovely.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. I think, we were talking just before we hit record. I saw you with my friend Chris the first time back in February at the Pizza Express in Soho, the jazz club. And that night, it just totally made my day. It was truly my first introduction to you. And yeah, I'm hooked now.
That means you're a Bravian. That's what we call our inner circle.
Your fandom. Oh, and you guys have a Patreon set up too, right? That people can join that really special community there.
Yeah, your wonderful friend Chris is one of our dear patrons. He's such a lovely guy.
Yes, that's for sure. Maybe I'll have to have Chris on a future show because he definitely has his own story to share. He does. He does. So let's get into it. Back in 2019, you guys started Brave Rival. How did you get to that point? Do you want to give us a little bit of your past and how you got there?
Yeah, so Lindsey and I have known each other for 11, 12 years.
I think it's 11 now.
Yeah. And we started off being in like a function, like Motown soul band, just on the kind of cover scene. So we've been singing together for quite a long time now. But I've always been a songwriter alongside doing cover stuff since I was 15. So I was out gigging original music from the age of 15. And I met Donna, our drummer / guitarist in the band. She was my friend at college's older sister, and I was like, she's so cool, I can't possibly ever even talk to her, let alone work with her. And but now I've got to know her, I know she's not cool. She's a crazy cat lady.
So it sounds like she's extremely cool.
Oh, she's very cool.
Just the coolest one of us all.
Yeah,
we all know it.
Effortlessly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just got together with Donna and I was like, do you want to do some songwriting? Because she had some ideas on guitar. I had some top line like lyrics and melodies. So we were like, okay, let's get together. And we'd done a session or two. And then I told Lindsey about it and she was like, I want to get in on that. So the three of us started off as like a kind of folky, bluesy, kind of soul trio. So Donna on guitar, the two of us singing, and we were doing like open mic nights and stuff like that. But then we were kind of writing songs that we felt needed to be a bigger, heavier sound. And Donna wanted to get back behind a drum throne. So we brought in different musicians and we eventually came to our lineup with Billy and Ed in 2019, I would say.
In August.
Yeah. So we started Patchwork Story, which was the female trio, in 2017, I want to say.
I think it was about that.
Yeah. And then by 2019, we had the lineup that we've got now. But I always say every good idea starts with a woman. And in this case, it was 3. So
it's 3 times a good idea then. That's what I think.
Absolutely.
I think,
like
you know what, and I think you're right about that. Like, I think you're so right. So many of these ideas, even if the men take credit, so many of them started with a woman's idea. Like, let's be real. So you definitely have the 3 times best idea.
Yeah. And I like to say that we just brought the boys in for eye candy. So
that's fair enough. That's, you need the boy eye candy, right? Round it out properly, right?
That's right.
They're wonderful in their own right. We're very lucky to work with them. But yeah, we've got the perfect recipe now, and it's going really well ever since we got the 5 of us kind of working together. So it's been a great journey.
Now, how long have you been writing songs then? Like, if you listen to other episodes, I talk about how I have been writing since I could write. And well, of course, but you know what I mean. Like I wanted to be, I wanted to be a poet actually. That was like that was one of my big things, a poet, songwriter kind of deal. And you know, and probably I can remember being like 4 or 5 and coming up with these things, but it's been a thread through my entire life and it's still to now, and it's probably becoming more prominent again now. And so, has that always been something that you know all of you have used, along with, of course, your voice, singing as your release, as your healing path?
Oh, for sure. Do you want
I would say that I came late to songwriting. As Chloe said, like, I hadn't had an outlet for it until they started writing together. And obviously I was interested in just having a go. I think that was mainly what I was thinking. I'm just going to come along and have a listen,
Right.
because I was a singer dancer before. So a very different life. Doing,
Oh,
production shows and lots of feathers and glitter and sequins. All the while being a total metalhead, thinking that very, very into rock music and thinking this is a weird career path that I've chosen, but I do like it. I do like that. But yeah, I came to it very late. I think when I was much smaller, I had more of an interest for it. I remember I wrote my first song when I was 7 or something like that, and it was called Friends Are Forever.
oh,
I used to sing it on the school bench at school with my friend Felicity, along with some Kylie Minogue stuff that I used to change the lyrics to,
oh.
um, because I wanted to be her at the time.
Which is fair.
Yeah,
She's like, I
so
love her.
I'd say my songwriting journey's been a bit varied, but in terms of other people that I know, especially in this band, quite short amount of time, really, like 4 years. But I feel like I've got so much influence from this band, particularly,
Yeah.
to write the stuff that I've written, and I'm really proud of the stuff I've written, because I think I've gained a lot of knowledge from the people around me. You know,
I think it really reflects how we write, whoever it might be, not just within the band. I think it reflects the personality. Like for me, I'm a very, very open person about how I feel. If I'm sad, if I'm pissed off, if I'm feeling heartbroken, I'm very open about it. Whereas Lindsay is quite a closed book. So even in the way that she writes, when you first started writing, you were like, "Oh, I'm just writing random words. I'm not really. It doesn't really necessarily mean anything to me. I'm just writing kind of
stories, yeah,
like poetry in a way." But later, the more you've written, I feel like it's like your subconscious is coming out.
yeah.
So like,
Sometimes I don't realize it's happening even.
yeah, like you'll be like, I don't know, I've come up with this song. Oh, it's really cool. I don't know what it means. And I'm like, Lindsay, this is exactly what's going on in your life. This is exactly your inner thoughts that you're too scared to say. But
Oh,
it comes out in song form. And I think that's kind of like your form of therapy. Whereas I'm like, this is how I'm feeling. I'm going to tell everybody. And here's the song version of it.
Exactly that.
So yeah, but I started sort of songwriting from a young age. I've got a whole song folder book of like 50 plus songs from when I was like 10, and they're all crap. But I kept them because it's the journey, isn't it? But yeah, I started songwriting with a guitarist when I was 15 or so, and I was gigging when I was 15 doing original music. So I've been doing it for a while.
I think it's in your blood. I think it's just what you're meant to do.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. You are meant to write music.
Oh, love you.
She's so good at it. She's so natural at it. She'll just come out with stuff on the spot.
It's because I've got a lot of thoughts going on up here.
Because you're crazy.
no, I think it's true though. I think, you know, you do find those people that were truly born to do it, and I do think that you are one of them. Absolutely. It's interesting, Lindsay, that you know, for you it's kind of like that, you know, I don't know what it means, and then it's like, hi, that's exactly your life. But because I think I feel that sometimes where I'm like, I don't know if I should really put out exactly how I'm feeling, because
Yeah,
that might make people mad. but But I think it's true. It's an incredible therapeutic healing tool that you can have. And also just using your voice. I mean, the singing part of it is so healing. It's like, it's just perfect. I love it.
I didn't realize how much it would be that as well. You know, because there's a song that's on our first album called Secrets, and I think that's probably the first song that I'd written really that came from some kind of trauma based place for me.
Right.
Um, and when I was writing it, I don't think it's funny. I think I write things and I don't realize what they mean, like you say. And it's not until later, or maybe even when we're performing it, that I'm like, oh, that's got gravitas. That's quite poignant to me. And sometimes it will mean a lot more than other times. Sometimes it's just a song. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
whatever's going on in your life. It will mean more to you than it did before.
I've never been more proud of you as a songwriter than when you first showed me that song.
It's the Secrets.
Yeah. You showed it to me and I was like, it felt like you were like really opening up because you still didn't have closure over that subject.
Not at that time.
It was about a terrible, terrible ex-boyfriend who still had his kind of claws in your mind, you know?
Yeah, it was a very, very long journey. Yeah.
And it was like, it was the start of you getting closure. And I just felt so happy for you. Makes me emotional thinking about it. Because it was like, yes, she's finally like bringing it to the forefront and actually like she's feeding off of that anger and actually she's going to be able to get power from that and move on from him. And then you did.
Yeah.
Because of that song. And I'm so proud of how you were brave enough to bring that forward. Hence our name. It's being brave enough to do that.
I mean, it's true. And I think people, they can relate to that too. And they can feel that energy that comes off of a song like that when it is so personal and how you perform it. And it's, it's the energy that you cannot get when you are not being authentic. You know what I mean? You have to be authentic to get that kind of stuff. And, 100% it comes through in all of your work. It's, as a band, it's just something very special. That's for sure.
It is. It's a lot. There's a lot that goes into putting a song out there and being able to be brave enough to share it with people, your kind of inner thoughts. A lot of people don't do that. I've met a lot of people that say, oh, I can write songs, but there's no way I'd be able to share them with anyone. I don't want people to hear that. I've got, our friend, that she's actually quite a good songwriter. She'll write stuff down, Potter.
Oh.
She's like, I don't know how you put it. I don't know how you perform that. Two people, I could never do that. I've got another friend who's the same. I would never share it. So it's another thing to write music and another thing to share that music.
It's like reading your diary out, isn't it?
Yeah. It is. And so how do you get past that as musicians, as performers? Like, because some of the songs are very intimate, right? And, heavy moments, or I mean, sometimes just light and beautiful moments, but sometimes it's still they're private, right? And so how do you open yourself up and let yourself express that and share that with the world?
It's like Insane, I think that's the one that comes to mind for me. You?
For me, it's two things that get me through it. One, adrenaline, which is a massive thing because you're feeding off of the energy in that room and you go to that place and you just give it everything you've got. At least that's how I feel when I perform a song that means a lot to me. And two, I know it sounds really cheesy, but the love of the people I'm on the stage with. I know I'm supported. I know that I am just backed by them. Like all I need to do is, like, even if I close my eyes and I'm opening my heart out against about mental health struggles and I say we've got a song called Insane and it's based on my life from like 7-8 years ago where I'd just come out of a divorce and it wasn't really actually my ex-husband that had got me to that dark place. it was more a very, very, very close friend of mine was in a relationship with a very abusive guy.
Right.
And as I said, I'm the one that says everything that I think, and I'm that friend that will be honest with you. I'm the friend that will say, you deserve better than that. And I will keep fighting for you to see that I'm that person. And I like being that person because I want to build up the women in my life. I want them to know that they're worth so much more than they think they are. And I always want to be that person. But it's really, really, really hard sometimes because you're almost seen as the enemy during that process.
Yes.
Because they don't want to see that, especially if they're in an abusive relationship. So I was pushed away at that time. I was very kind of manipulated by the guy that was with my friend.
Right.
And it ended up being, he was almost manipulating me, almost abusing me to try and cut me out. And it was a very, very, very dark time, especially with my own journey coming out of the divorce. And it was tough. And I had a total breakdown, didn't I? We were at a gig and I couldn't even do the gig. I just...
First and only time
I've ever gone mentally, I cannot do this. And I literally went to the forest. I ran to the forest and just dug into the soil. I was just digging into the soil, like basically rubbing the soil on my face, on my arms. I just wanted the soil close to me. I was like, I've lost it. I've gone insane. I have lost it. And then I got home, and the next few days I didn't get out of bed, and I was like, oh my God. Upon reflection now, I'm like, I definitely was depressed. But at the time we didn't see it. But I looked it up and I was like, why did I want the soil? And apparently soil has a natural antidepressant in it. So my body clearly was craving that. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I obviously just needed that naturally. The earth, the environment gave that to me. And nature gets me through it, music gets me through it, and eventually I became stronger. I stepped away from that negativity in my life. I now have boundaries in place with the people that I love, just to protect my own mental health. But when I perform that song, I totally go to that place. I go to the forest. I go to that really dark place. But the way that I get through it is because I know that my best friend is behind me playing drums and driving me forward. I know that the two guys that respect me and are pushing me forward as well are there. And I know that this wonderful woman is next to me thinking, oh my God, you're a queen. You're incredible. I've got you. And I also know that I've got an incredible husband and daughter at home, and I have a much life now. So that's what gets me through it, is the fact that I'm in a better place. And yeah, so support, adrenaline, love. Cheesy, but
it's not cheesy. It is true. It's not cheesy at all. Like that's I mean, it's real, right? And there's too many people, and what gets you through it? The beers, man, or the chicks? I don't know. But what you're saying, it's real, right? And I think people, they feel it. Like I keep saying, they feel it, and they really do. And I think it is part of what makes you a really strong vocalist, what makes the band so strong, and it's just wonderful. So when you've got this, so we talked about it a little before, but like your supportive partner, just I came from a really difficult and abusive marriage, and I'm now with somebody who's extremely supportive of me and everything that I do, all my businesses and everything that I'm working on. So I know for you, having a supportive partner, how has that just helped elevate you in your artistic journey, in everything?
Oh, he helps me massively. He's like my biggest cheerleader. That's I wouldn't be able to do this band without him, like financially. I don't think I would have the time to be able to do it. But
Right.
also, obviously, I've got the mix of, I've got a toddler at home. So I've got a little 2-year-old that, like,
Aw,
with him doing a full-time job and me doing this, like, we had 86 gigs last year. There's no way I could do that on my own and look after a toddler. Like, it wouldn't happen.
no.
So the fact that I've got his support means that I can keep doing what I'm doing. And he really loves what we do. Like, he helps the business out. Like, because he's trained in finance and business management, and project planning.
Cool.
So he actually helps the band out a lot. So not only just as a partner, but as like
He's part of the team, isn't he?
yeah, he's part of our team. Like, we wouldn't be able to run this business as smoothly as we are if it wasn't for him. So yeah, very, very, very lucky. Like, the opposite of where I was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's a great friend as well, not only to me, but to Lindsay. He really cares about her.
Yeah.
And Donna, he loves these women because he knows how much I love them too. So
Yeah. And can I
It's
say it's how nice it is to hear you actually say that you are in such a good place in, relationship as well, because not everybody gets to have that. So that's wonderful to hear from your side too.
yeah, really
No,
happy for
it's
you.
me too. No,
Mm.
it's it's true. Not everybody does have that. And I think, you're talking about creating boundaries and things like that, and, realizing your self-worth. And I think that was a huge part of it for me. And I mean, some of this I'm still working on, my boundaries, my self-worth, all this stuff. But it's getting better all the time. And as it gets better, life just seems to get sweeter, I think. So,
Mm.
and I do say, without him, without my partner, I couldn't do, I don't think I'd be as far as I am now, without him. So I know it's, it makes such a difference in your whole life to have somebody like that in it.
And I think that's a powerful thing to have, but I think what is also so powerful and liberating is having that self-love, having that loving yourself, but ultimately as number one, whether you have a partner or not, as long as you love yourself and you are giving everything that you've got to your life, because life is short and precious.
Yeah.
Like, your life is incredible. Like, the amount of independence that you have.
I know, I'm fiercely independent.
Fiercely independent. Like, you would not meet many self-employed musicians that own their own house. Like,
No.
like just from your own income. Like, and Lindsay is like a huge inspiration of mine. That when I first met her, because I'm a little bit younger than
Tiny a little bit.
her.
6 years?
7 years.
Yeah,
Oh,
whatever.
okay.
When I first met her, I was like, oh my God, wow, she's a full-time musician. She was like the first female full-time musician I'd ever met. And I was totally intimidated by her. Yeah. I was like,
Oh,
wow, she's doing that, and she's so sure of herself, and her voice is incredible, and she's gigging every night. Like, how on earth can she do that? And she still manages to sustain it. When we have nights off from Brave Rival, she's out gigging, like in hotels and stuff. I'm like, how? And not only that, she's sustaining her own home, and I love that. And yeah, I just think she's a beautiful soul inside and out.
Well, thank you.
And it's just making sure
Means a lot.
that she knows that herself.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's you get into a situation where you think, there's pieces, because I'm a single person. I'm going on 40, and I'm kind of, I've not really found that person that's going to be my person.
Right.
I'm on a different path to everyone else that I know, really. I don't know
Yeah.
anybody else that's kind of doing it themselves at this stage of life. And sometimes I think that, it really gets me down because I feel like I'm failing at that particular area of life. And I'm going through a process of trying not to think that too hard, like too deep, but it does get to me sometimes. But then on the other hand, when Chloe says stuff like that, I'm like, God damn it, yeah, I am. I'm smashing it by myself. That's a huge thing to celebrate.
It's
I don't find to think, think about it in more of a positive sense like that.
I
and
mean,
everybody's on
even
their own path.
people, it's true. And even people with maybe a more traditional career path, most of them can't do it on their own anyways. So, like, girl,
Mm.
you're kind of amazing.
She is
It's,
amazing.
it's,
I make it work.
it's
Yeah, I would. Don't get me wrong. I would like to find love. That's a huge part of what I would love to have in my life. That's kind of the only missing piece, really.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still damn proud of myself and how I can sustain this life and my other life and have a really, really good independent life. It's great.
I think that's what's tricky, is that our life when we're on the road, when we're on stage, it's so euphoric. It makes you feel like you are powerful and loved, and you feel like the most confident version of yourself when you're on that stage, even if you're singing about sad stuff.
It's addictive feeling. It really is.
It is literally like a drug.
So
It is
addictive.
like a drug. And
I think every time. Last night, every time we're in the middle of a show, it gets to about midway, and I think, I don't want this to end. I don't want this feeling
yeah, it's such a good
to end.
feeling.
It's such a good feeling. Yeah.
So to then go anything that isn't that, you naturally compare it. Of course you do. So, for you, it's, you want a partner, and you might feel like you're missing that part of your life. Whereas for me, like, I'll go home and it's like, although I love my daughter very, very much, being on stage feeling like queen, then coming home and like, oh, come on, let me wipe your bum, but she's running away, or or throwing herself on the floor in the middle of a shop. I don't want to be doing those bits, but you naturally compare the other parts of your life. But I guess we're all blessed, and as long as we're living our lives loving ourselves, that's what it's all about, really.
Yeah, that's so true. When you're gigging so much, Lindsay, how do you maintain your voice? Like, even if you're gigging on your nights off from Braid Rival, I'm like, wow, how
Yeah.
do you do
She's a
it?
robot.
Yeah, and I think I
Oh,
might have a robot. I had good. I'm not a trained singer, but I did go into full-time singing at 18 after about 2 weeks after my last exams from college.
oh,
I went straight into 6 nights a week singing in show teams and did that for years. And then I ended up working in the band, and then I ran the band, which is like a resident band. So not only was I doing the shows, I was also singing in the band sets every single night, like 6 nights a week.
You're doing like 3 or 4 sets a night, weren't you?
It was 2 band sets on one show, so let's say like 3 sets a night. Did a little bit of cruise work as well, which was 6 sets a night. So I feel like I've had a lot of good stamina training, not necessarily vocal training, but stamina is good. When I sing a lot, I get better and I feel stronger. And I think recently, since we went away on tour, what did I say? I had 3 nights off in 37 days or something like that.
Crazy.
From singing.
You are crazy.
And then I think I had some more on top of that because it was unexpected, like session work I picked up or something. I can't remember, but it was a lot. But the more I do them, I don't know why. It's just the more I do, the stronger I feel, and the notes I can hit are better and stronger. So I feel like I've got a robotic voice.
well, you don't even have time to cool
luckily.
down then.
Lindsay
That's-
literally does all the opposite things of what if you were going to listen to like, oh, here's a vocal coach saying these are the things you should do.
Oh yeah, I don't like any of that.
Lindsay does none of it, and she sounds as epic as she does. That's why I say she's a robot. She barely drinks any water.
I know.
She eats
What?
cheese all the time.
Oh
She doesn't really warm up.
no.
She barely gets any sleep.
Yeah, no, I do get. I do sleep well, but
But you go to bed late,
I go to bed late. Yeah.
and she sings constantly, doesn't really rest her voice. Yet she sounds epic. It's not fair.
I feel like I should touch a lot of wood.
like,
But
I'm
whereas for
touching it
me,
all for
I'm
you
like
right
the
now.
opposite.
I'm the opposite. I do like warm-ups that I've gone to vocal coaches for to get proper warm-ups in place.
We do all the things we should.
I drink a lot of water during a show,
Yeah.
like keep it lubricated. Yes, so I'm the opposite, but you are just always just epic. Always. You're flawless all the time.
Oh no, I wouldn't.
It makes me sick.
That's very impressive. I'm like, I think you are a robot.
She is sick.
I don't know how this happened.
Well, if your voice, if you can maintain that so easily, then how do you just fight against burning out on the road, or do you just like live off that adrenaline high and like that's it?
I think it's not necessarily the vocal strain that bothers you. I think it's more the traveling. Like our
Right.
bodies get very, very achy because we're sitting in a van a lot of the time.
Yeah.
You're basically
Yeah.
in a van. Yeah.
Knackered.
Yeah. You're in a van. You get to a venue. You unload, lifting loads of heavy stuff. You then do a show, which is loads of adrenaline. You're using your body, but you don't feel it because of the adrenaline. And
Yeah.
then you're in a van, and then you sleep, and then you're back in a van again. So it's that side of things, like having sore necks, having sore backs, just from sitting and loading heavy gear all the time. That's the tough bit, which I do think we should get better as a band. Like we could exercise more, or like this weekend, I wish I'd bought my running gear, because if you stay at a Premier Inn, which we normally do,
Yeah.
there's not really anywhere to exercise because you'd usually buy a motorway. Whereas like here, we've stayed at an Airbnb while we've been away in like a nice residential place. I could go for a run around the streets.
Yeah.
And, you know, we could actually move our bodies and make sure we're fitter. So I think we could definitely do that just to get ourselves healthier. But even just eating habits is tough, isn't it? Like
On the road, yeah, really hard.
sometimes the only option is a McDonald's at 11 p.m.
We eat
or
so
at
much
midnight.
fast food. Yeah.
Because it's the only option. It's like it's quite, so we don't, it's things like that that's tough. But one day when we're mega rich and famous, we can order it. We can have like a personal chef that comes around with us and eat and makes healthy meals, and have a personal
Yes.
trainer and all that.
Absolutely. Why not? And a massage therapist. You need that,
Oh yes.
Yeah, we've all
right?
got a bucket list, haven't we, of the things that we want. One, if we could all have one person, extra person on the road with us, what would it be? And everyone's got their thing. Yours is the chef, isn't it?
I think Donna said the chef. Mine was the masseuse. Yours was a social media person.
Social media and someone to film and take pictures and stuff, because I do all that as well. So
Share them anyway.
Yeah, we'll share.
we'll all share them, obviously. Yeah.
That's a dream.
Yeah, but I think that's like that is a really smart trait to have. Everybody has one, and it is like, and you put them all in the bucket, and then everybody
That's
can
it.
use them.
Yeah.
Brave rival
my God.
entourage.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's coming definitely.
It's a nice dream.
So, so you guys were there were just the Blues Awards, the UK Blues Awards, a couple nights ago, and so you, and I'm sorry because you'll have to run through all the nominations you guys had, because there were a lot across the band, right?
We had 3, so we were
Finally, we had 3, yeah.
Well, we had a lot of nominations in the top 20, but we got into 3 categories for the top 5 as finalists. But every single
Right.
member of the band were in the top 20 for best instrumentalist and best vocalist, which we're pretty proud of. So in the top 20
Yes.
of all the musicians out there, and especially for Donna, because she was in the category for best instrumentalist in the top 20, and she was the only woman, I think.
Yep. 2 years running.
The only woman in the top 20, which is absolutely mad.
That's going to change, I'm sure. It's changing. I think you're the start of that change, honestly.
And one of 2 drummers.
And
One of
of 2
two.
drummers in the instrumentalist as well. So, but in the finalist category, we were up for best band. Ed was up for best guitarist, and
Well, best instrumentalist.
sorry, best
Yeah,
instrumentalist,
guitarist.
and I was up for best vocalist.
That's, I mean, that's just, it's wild because, I mean, even in a big band, say, you don't see that many individuals be, you know, you wouldn't have everybody be nominated from the band generally.
I think it's quite rare.
Like,
Yeah.
extremely rare. And I think it, again, it just kind of shows your amazing talent. All the, just, it's a huge accomplishment. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it really
I'm
is.
really proud
I'm
of
sorry,
that.
I'm
And I
just
think
kind of like mind blown here.
Aww.
I think it comes from the fact that we're such a unit. There's a lot of, you know, different ways that bands operate, and sometimes, and mostly actually, you know, there's a front person, then they have their band,
which can rotate.
is the face of the band, and they have their band. It's not necessarily the band itself. Like, obviously, it works in loads of different ways, but we barely ever play not as us, unless it's an extremely strange situation where something brilliant's come in and we can't turn it down, and one of us is away or ill or something like that, which barely happens.
That's happened once, and the only other times that we've had someone fill in was when I was pregnant, and I only had 3.5 months off.
Yeah, it was a short time.
So, and just because we already had some dates that were booked, that we didn't want to miss out on the opportunity. So, a really good friend of mine, Amber Tremaine, who's an incredible singer, she stood in for me. But yeah, generally we are a unit. We're all part of the band. We're not a front person that we hire musicians for. You know, we're all equal members in the band as a business and musically.
And we actively promote that too.
Yeah.
Everybody knows our names. We all write together. You know, it's all one big pot of musicians. You know, it's not, no one's singled out. It's that, I think that's why we're known more individually as other than maybe some other bands. You know, I think that's why.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, recent, like newer bands, a lot of them, to be honest, I don't know all their names. Like, okay, Aerosmith, obviously, because I love them, but it's like, but you know, that new bands, usually I don't know all their names, but you're right, because everybody has that unique identity within the band, and then it makes a unique identity as a band too. It's really cool. And do you think that not having the front person, like you say, you know, that it just adds more to the energy, I think, of the band. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say it's what makes us unique. I think, I mean, having two front women, like two strong vocalists as well, not one better than the other. Like, we're both equally strong as lead vocalists, but then we also have the ability to kind of take a back step when one of us is shining. But then also to have a guitarist who is effectively a front man too, because he's, you know, he's a standout player.
Yeah.
But then Billy and Donna too, they stand out as well in the way that they play too. So it's very much, they don't take a back step. We all shine without stepping on each other's toes. I think that definitely is a special thing about us, for sure.
Definitely. There's a lot of energy on that stage when we perform. You know, everybody is looked at, you know, everybody is noticed.
And we're all rooting for each other. We're bigging each other up.
Yeah. I think it's a big asset too, right? Like it, you know, it really helps you kind of meld as a band, I would guess. And because everybody knows that they're equal, you never have the like, whoa, this one's always out front, or, you know, you really do, you can move and act like a unit. And again, there's so many bands that they just can't, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to just take it back slightly to Chloe's award for best vocalist, because we talked a lot about me and my stamina in that before. But you know, it's so nice for Chloe and I to sing together, because we're so different as singers, but people say, and we know that we come together so well, like we sing together so well.
Donna calls it magic.
It's just the magic. And I have the stamina, I have the power, and of course I try and have as much emotion in my singing. But I think the reason that Chloe is so special in her singing is because she's so emotive when she sings. You can tell she means every single word that she's singing, whether it's something I've written, even it's just invested. Invested in it. And I think it's really powerful to be able to perform like that, because you connect with every single person in that room. And that's why I think people were like, Chloe's an exceptional vocalist, she needs to be up for this award, because not only are you strong and you're powerful and your performance is amazing, like on-stage performance is amazing, but the connecting with the crowd and with us as a band, and the way that you perform and the way that you emote through your performing is really special. And really rare. It's really, that was a really wet one. And I think it makes you stand out as a vocalist. does.
Thank
A lot. Love you. It really does. I'm really proud of you for that that award nomination. It's amazing.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, I
I'll pay
agree.
later.
I love
specific.
that you have this kind of like sisterhood within the band,
Mhm.
and and I guess it would spill out into the other areas of life too. Of course, it's you know there's just something that is really special about all of you, and how how close, how tight knit, how you know there is so much love. Like, uh, if you're listening to this, I hope you can feel the warm fuzzies, because
Mhm.
it's just, it's such a high level of support and care for each other. I think that's what more people need.
Yeah,
you
we really do. We really do
know?
care about each other. And don't get me wrong, we're like a little family. We definitely argue
Yeah.
because we're running a business, and it's like brother and sister energy sometimes. It's just like, but
Right.
it's like brother and sister bickering.
Yeah, it's all bickering.
Yeah, it's more bickering,
Yeah.
not arguing. But I think that's
Right.
healthy. I think it's because and often when that happens is because we all care so much
Yeah, we do.
that we're all trying to get to the same goal. But yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely do look out for each other. I know we all go through our own mental health journeys. We've all struggled in very different ways, and we cope with it in very different ways. But we
Yeah.
all try to be respectful of what each of us need, and it's having that awareness, which has been tough. Like
Very
learning
learning.
what people need, and I think because we've been going for so long now, we now understand how to communicate with one another, and sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't. But I think that would be the same in any environment, whether you're in an office or in a family, in a relationship.
Yeah.
It's learning that with 5 people, so it's quite tricky. And also, like, Donna is type 1 diabetic, so it's just being aware of that as well in the band, and making sure that she's okay, making sure that her levels are okay, and doing anything we can to help her.
Yeah.
Because it can happen at any point. We might just about to go on stage and she might be having a low, and her energy is really low. So it's just being aware of that, and going, right, should we change the song here, or how can we help in any way? So it's those little additional things too that we work together as a band and we make it right. There's been times when on the way back from gigs we've been like, do we need to go to the hospital? But we do.
Oh,
It does. Nothing else matters
yeah.
in those moments, and because our health and our well-being is number one for each of
Yeah.
us. We have
Yeah,
to
and
do it.
it has to be, for the future of everything too. And just because you guys have so much love for each other, your well-being is always the most important thing.
Yeah.
It's I can imagine how hard it's been. Maybe not hard, but it's been a journey to be able to effectively communicate with each other. But it's cool that you bring it up though, because it's kind of like, you know, people talk about communication being, really the way to solve all problems, and then you kind of prove it right there, right? Like,
Mhm.
if you don't have effective communication with your partner or your coworkers or your kids or your whatever,
Mhm.
right? It's Nothing works then.
Yeah.
So
Everything
it's
comes down to communication. Like, it's not about love or talent or competition, anything like that. It's all about how you communicate with somebody and learning their communication language, and adapting your communication language to get to the best outcome. And it's trial and error a lot of the time, but I really think that we're starting to get there, and it's just managing 5 different people's energy. But
Mm.
I think it's the more and more time we spend together. Czech was the longest time. We just went to Czechia for 2 weeks, which was our
wow.
longest time we spent together, and the longest time we'd all probably been away from our families, especially for me, 2 weeks away from my daughter.
Yeah.
But we honestly, I thought we'd bicker more,
Mm.
and it was amazing. Like, we did
Mm.
so well,
On our best behaviour, weren't we?
but it felt comfortable. I felt comfortable,
Mm.
and it just,
It was a
you,
pleasure.
like Lindsay and I share a room, and it's really great. We're perfect roomies because if we want to have a chat, we'll sense each other's energy and chat. If in the morning we're not in the mood for talking, we go, morning. You know, we ride with that. Yeah. Whereas, you know, you could be in a room with your best friend, but if she's a chatterbox, or I don't know, she's a clean freak, but you want to leave your towel on the floor, like, it's just learning to work with making sure you can be yourself, but also make sure the other person feels comfortable and happy. And I think we're getting there as like our own little teams within the band, and also as a unit as well. So yeah, I think we've come so far.
Yeah, we have
already.
Yeah, we're very, very organized and professional, I think, as a band. You know, there's a lot that has to go into making a band work, and I think a lot of people don't notice or realize that it's not just about writing music and playing music. It's just 1,000 other things on this, like an iceberg.
Yeah.
Going on under this constantly. Every day there's something. Social media is constant every day, making, you know, the content. It's just outrageous, the amount of effort and and stuff that goes into making this band actually, you know, keep moving forward and working.
Yeah.
But I think we work so well at it. We've all got our own individual like strengths that we play to, and it just, for some reason, I think we've just got an amazing recipe for that. Like,
Yeah, they're really
amazing recipe when we write music. We're amazing recipe when we perform music, and we've got an amazing recipe for the business side of it as well,
which I think is very rare.
so rare. And we're all completely self-managed as well. So it's, sometimes I can't believe like how well we do as a unit, you know, as a team.
It's like we're one big delicious cake.
Yeah.
Ooh. I'll take a piece of that.
I knew you were going to say that.
Well, okay, I love cake. Like, it's fine. So you have a new album coming out later this year. So do you want to tell us about the album? Tell us everything.
It's so nice to be able to start talking about it.
Yeah, it's so lovely.
It's been a long time coming. Again,
it's called Fight or Flight, which is a lyric taken from one of the songs, because it just felt right for this album. Because what is it called?
Sophomore album. Yeah.
So like the second album that comes out is always the risky one, because especially if your first album does well, and we got such incredible reviews for our first album, Life's Machine. So this album is like, oh, are they going to love it as much? And a lot of our fans are like, oh, I don't think you can beat Life's Machine. So we just thought Fight or Flight was the perfect name for it, because it's like, we're going to come fighting.
Go hard or go home.
Yeah.
You're coming hard.
That's what she said. So this album is definitely more rocky. I think we're kind of moving away from the blues scene, not as in like screw the blues scene.
Absolutely not.
No, we love the blues scene.
It's an amazing scene to be part of.
It's the community part of the blues scene is amazing, and we'll be moving forward with that for sure. But actual musically, we're definitely going the rock route.
Naturally happen, doesn't it?
But I mean, blues is always going to be part of who we are, because even just the way that we emote through singing, whether that be blues, rock, soul, pop even, we're always going to sing it with feeling, and that's what blues is to me. Blues is feeling. But yeah, this album is got strings featured on a couple of the songs, and it just sounds so cinematic and epic. The thread of the kind of lyrical content of this song is kind of a big mental health thread. Some of it subconsciously that Lindsay's written, and some that have been very clearly direct from me.
Right.
But yeah, we're very, very proud of it, and we've got some really fun, upbeat songs that
driving songs.
Yeah, still have that kind of mental health thread, but it's like in a very kind of cocky, like, here we are. Like, we're not letting anything stop us way. And yeah, we're very excited about that. So like 5 Years On is our first single, which is coming out on the 3rd of May, which is like soon. And we'll be playing it for the first time on the 4th of May at the Half Moon in Putney, and the 5 years on
Yes.
is all about, look how far we've come in 5 years, and we're so excited for the next 5 years. That's what it's about, and it's about celebrating that and being proud of it and not shying away from being proud of what we've done.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that
well,
one's exciting.
you have a lot to be proud of, that's for sure. And, I'm gonna be there at the gig in Putney, and I am really looking forward to it. Um, so
Good.
the first single will be out on the 3rd, and then you can start pre-ordering the album from that day too, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yay!
so excited. And there's a really special song on the album. To me, it's a standout, because Lindsay actually wrote it in her sleep.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. When
so,
I
oh,
called Paul McCartney did.
oh,
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? You just don't know when something's going to hit you. And I think I was dreaming about something, and it probably wasn't anything to do with this song, to be fair. It was probably just like I woke up and there's something going on. I just grabbed my phone and started singing into my phone. It was like something about this. Something's just going around my head singing. I think it's original.
It's
You never
definitely,
quite know.
but it's called Blame the Voices. And
Yeah.
again, it's one of those songs you were like, oh, it's just gibberish. It doesn't mean anything. But it clearly meant something with what was going on. Because obviously I know Lindsay
Yeah.
as a
yeah,
person, not just a performer. Like, it's
yeah.
totally reflective of what was
Yeah.
happening at that point in her life. But that one's really special. Like, hearing that come from her little voice recording in a sleepy state in the morning to how it sounds now, like how we've developed it,
So Zeppelin.
is
It's
so
crazy.
exciting, and I can't wait to perform that one at our album launch show and throughout the tour. Very excited about that.
Yeah, there's definitely got a Bond element to that one. It's quite a
Ooh.
different vibe.
Yeah, it's like a mix of Bond and Led Zeppelin and Heart, a bit
Oh.
Muse. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, we're excited to
Okay.
start performing some of this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited to hear all of it. You have a lot of dates booked coming up too that people can catch you at.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't even keep up with all the dates.
I mean, I guess not. But
Yeah, the easiest way is always just because we're always adding dates constantly. So the easiest way
Yeah.
would be to go to braverival.com. Everything is on there. Like, Lindsay's designed the website, and it's amazing. That's another thing that she does behind the scenes. But yeah, obviously we've got the Half Moon Putney, which will be celebrating our new first single from the album. Our album launch show, the first time we'll be playing the whole album, will be on the 12th of September. And that's at Dingwalls in Camden, which will be our
Right.
biggest headline show to date. So we've never played a venue that big. So we want
Yeah.
everybody to come to that one.
yeah,
So,
the main
Yes.
one we want to get the word out.
I'll
that's
make
the main
sure
one,
that
yeah.
I'm
But
there.
yes, please do, yeah.
That's gonna be a really special show.
But yeah, we've got loads of dates, and basically we're going to be announcing a tour soon. Probably the end of May for our album tour, which will be over the autumn. So
Oh, cool. And will
that'll
that
be
be just
coming up.
UK, or will you go into Europe, or?
It will be just over the UK for now, but all across the UK. So we're including some Scotland dates and things like that,
Oh,
and
cool.
hopefully Wales as well.
Vision for Wales.
So we've got a couple of dates in Germany and
Romania.
Romania as well, just scattered through the year. But we're always adding dates. So the easiest way is just to say braverival.com. You'll find everything on.
Yeah, just go on to the tour page. Yes, it's updated all the time. We just basically, as you say, Ashley, we don't stop. So
true.
there's always dates added to that. So, and we're always going to be coming somewhere near.
Don't stop thinking about tomorrow.
It's amazing. So from your website, they can get all your social links, and they can
Yes.
contact you, join your Patreon, do all the things
Yeah.
possible. Yeah.
Everything just basically comes off the main website, all the socials and the Patreon. Head over to that and check that out.
Patreon's a really lovely platform because we weren't sure about doing it when we first heard about it.
Yeah.
But for us, it was a great avenue to go down to potentially get us one step closer to becoming a full-time band. Because although we're working hard, like, we've all actually got our own jobs that we do alongside all of these dates and this admin. So Patreon is like all of our patrons have that same goal in mind, because chatting to them at gigs and through the app.
It's almost like they're investors.
Yeah,
I
like
think it's a mini investment thing. They're investing
they want it
Yeah.
for us as much as we
their
do.
money. Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
really wonderful. They really believe in us, and I think they're really proud to be part of the journey with us. And I say that's regardless of even the content that we give on there. But I think a lot of them are on there because they have that same vision for us, and they truly believe in us, which is really, really lovely. But yeah, you can get demos on there. We do podcasts that we literally record from the van, from the tour van on the road.
Oh, cool.
We do. There's all sorts, like weekly updates and lots of different things. So that's a really, really great platform for us, because it's exciting. The more patrons we get, we're like, oh, we're one step closer to becoming like officially full time.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
Oh, I'm so happy for you. So proud of you. And I'm
thanks
truly, I'm
you.
so thankful that we met. Um,
I loved meeting
just-
you. Like, you were such a good soul. We could have talked all night, couldn't we?
yeah, we could have. And then they were like, time to get out of here. And I was like, okay, we'll go. But no, it's truly has been such a pleasure to meet you, to speak with you, and I can't wait to see all of the big things that are coming this year and beyond. It's amazing. I'm proud. So happy.
Well, thank you so much for having us on your podcast. It's been a real joy talking to you.
Thank
You're
you.
such a beautiful
and-
soul.
Thank you. You're gonna make me cry. So we're not gonna do that here. But thank you again for being with us today, and we will see you next week at the show.
Yeah. Let's get a photo.
Yay.
We'll get a photo together. That'll be lovely.
Yeah.
Yes,
Definitely.
we will. It'll be perfect. And we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you so much, Ashley.
Bye. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Healthy Metal Hippie podcast. If you're looking for more, head to healthymetalhippie.com and let's connect. Until next time, wishing you a magical week. See you later.